Okay, here's number 2. Here we go. Okay, so one of the factors has been given. And I know this is to the power of 3, so that should be f of x is equal to, there's going to be three factors or 3 parentheses. One of them is given. They're already giving you one of the answers, right? One part right there. Yeah? And since it's a factor, we know we're going to do long division. And when we divide, what's a good sign? What's telling you that you're doing it right? That when you do division, the remainder should be 0. So I'm going to do that real quick. You should have already done it. I give you like a minute head start. And if you made a mistake, we'll find it. Here it goes. So it's going to be x squared, x cubed minus 5x squared. Then you change the sign because you subtract negative 7x squared. Drop the next one. Repeat the process. Negative 7x, that's going to be negative 7x squared plus 35x. But then when you subtract, you change the sign. So that's going to give you positive 10x. Drop the last one. And then plus 10. Yeah, 10x minus 50. You see how you know when it works out nice? Because when you change the sign next, you get a remainder 0, right? If you get another remainder, any other number than 0, you messed up, right? You should get remainder 0. Is that right? So now we have just figured out that instead of this polynomial, we have, well, we don't have the final answer like this, but we have f of x is equal to the x minus 5 times what? Times this x squared minus 7x plus 10, right? If I just divide it and the remainder is 0, that means that this times this is this, yes? That means that this times this is this. So now I got x minus 5 times x squared minus 7x plus 10. But then what am I telling you? This one that's quadratic will be what? Factorable. That's going to be the last two that go there. How do you factor the x squared minus 7x plus 10? X minus 5, x minus 2. Yeah? That's not the final answer. That's not the final function in factored form. It's correct. I didn't say it wasn't wrong. I didn't say it was not correct. I just said it wasn't the final answer. Why is this not the final answer? You will not see this on the key when you check it. No. You see these that are x minus 5, x minus 5? They're not going to leave it like that. They're going to write it fancy just to try to trick you.
Wait, Mr. So when there's some that are the same and not take like the 0?
That's when you find the zeros. Right now we're still writing it part 1. We're still in part 1 factor it. First write it in factored form. Yeah, this is correct. This is in factored form, but they're going to get a little bit fancy with it. They're going to write f of x is equal to what? They'll probably put the x minus 2 first, and then they'll probably put the x minus 5 what? Squared. Yeah? And what if it was x minus 5 and x plus 5? What if it was an x minus 5 and an x plus 5? You think they're going to leave it like that? No, they're going to put that x squared minus 25. We saw it today earlier. Okay? Now here's another thing. So that's part 1, right? Write the equation in factored form. Part 2 says to what? And find all the zeros. Yeah? So if I go back to this one where I could see all 3 numbers, right? If I go back to this one, what are the zeros? The zeros are 5, 5, and 2. You guys agree with that? Positive 5 and positive 5 and 2? Yeah. They're not going to write it like that either. They're going to write it like this. You know how to do it, Paulo?
Isn't it parentheses x squared plus 25, parentheses
Oh, no. We already wrote the factored form. Anything with parentheses is the factored form, to factor it. Now I'm just asking you to give me the zeros. What are the zeros? Do you guys agree the zeros are, right, where you would see the graph hit the x-axis, right? We're not seeing the graph, but wouldn't it be opposite of x minus 5 is positive 5? Opposite of x minus 5 is the other positive 5? And then opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. You're just going to see this. But I'm telling you, you're not going to see, there's something here. They're going to write it like this. The zeros are going to be this. The zeros are going to be 2. They're going to have the 2. And then when you have the same number twice, they're going to write it like this. They're going to write 5 mult 2. And what in the heck is that? What is 5 mult 2? No, close. 2, everybody agree 2 is this one?
205.
2 is this one here. And this part that says 5 mult, this little mult, I know it sounds like it's going to be multiply, whatever. No, it's multiplicity. It's short for the word multiplicity, yeah? So, let's say, for example, yeah, I have what if I have 3? No, bad number. What if I have 4? Let's say 4 are 2 zeros. They're going to write 4 multiplicity 2. There's 2 of them, yeah? But later when you get to these higher degree polynomials, you can have 4, 4, and 4. You can have 3 4s, right? How would you write that? You would write 4 multiplicity what? 3. You see what that's doing like that? That's what it means. If it's just 1, they're not going to say multiplicity 1. But if it's 2 or more, it's another way of saying like a double root. Instead of saying double root, they'll say multiplicity 2. Okay? That's all I want to make sure I clarify, because that's what you're going to see when you see the answer key. Okay. Let me finish. So does everybody agree numbers 1 and 2 are very similar because of the power of 3? And we made an observation about numbers 3 and 4 yesterday. What did I tell you about numbers 3 and 4 that were different from numbers 1 and 2? These are to the power of 4, which in your head you should be saying, what? That means I'm going to have to find what? 4 parentheses. You guys agree with that? Yeah, that's true. But I'm gonna tell you that this one to the power of 4 is really one of these. Is really one of these in disguise. Ready? Watch here. I'm going to give you a problem that's the same problem twice, but it looks different, but it's in disguise. Look here. Ready? What if I have this? X squared plus 8x minus 20. And I know we know how to factor this one. But I'm going to give you this problem in disguise. Ready? We've seen this before. Does anybody can give me this real quick? This one should be pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, I wonder what numbers multiply to 20 and can add or subtract some way to an 8. X. Everybody agree it's 10 and 2? Yeah, I know you're supposed to make a list of your numbers. And everybody agree we did factoring, right? Everybody agree it's plus 10 and minus 2? Now I'm going to give you this same problem, and obviously this one gives you 2 answers, 2 roots, 2 zeros. I'm going to give you the same problem, but in disguise. Ready? What about this? X cubed, that's going to be 3 answers, right? Plus 8x squared minus 20x. Do you guys see it's the same numbers? X squared, a 8x, and a negative 20. This is to the power of 2. I'll get 2 answers. This is to the power of 3. But this one to the power of 3 is really this one in disguise. Anybody can remember and tell me why?
You can factor out an x.
You can factor out an x. G, C, F. Yeah? Greatest common factor. Everybody see here? Before you try to get crazy and try to factor out something cubed, it has an x in common. Once I see that and I factor that x out to the front, what are we left inside, guys? X squared what? Plus 8x minus what? You guys see how it's the same problem in disguise? Look, x squared plus 8x minus 20, and what was the one over here? So once we do GCF, isn't it really going, we're really bringing it down to a quadratic? Now we know how to factor this. We just did it over here. But this one, you got the x in front, and the x plus 10 and the x minus 2. Isn't that going to give you 3 answers? 3 zeros? Now one of them is what? 0, right? And the other 2, well, you know how to get that. Yeah? Okay. So now looking at this one, number 3 here on the worksheet. Yeah, it's to the power of 4, but if you really pay attention, is there a GCF here? They all have a what? An x, right? So it's really going to be x and what? X cubed plus 6x squared minus 7x minus 60. So one of these 4 parentheses I already know is what? X, this one, is one of them. When it's just the x, you don't have to write the parentheses. And then don't they give you another one? Yeah? What's the other one that we're going to divide right now? X plus 5. And so now what do we have to do? Divide x plus 5 into this one, yeah? Into this one. Into the cubed one. Okay, let's do that real quick. X squared. Did I do it right? How do I know if I'm right? How do I know if it's not right? The remainder has to be what? 0. Did I get remainder 0? Where?
On the question it says 7x squared. And you just put 7x.
Yeah, but didn't we just factor out an x on all of them? We factor out an x, so they all dropped a degree. Not just that one, they all dropped a degree. Look, this was x4 and this is x3. This is x3, now I wrote x2. This is x2, now I just wrote x. Yeah, once you factor out an x, don't divide the x plus 5 into the one with the 4. Yeah? So what have I just figured out right now? I don't have this one yet. I figured out that right now it's x times x plus 5 times what? Times this x squared plus x minus 12, yeah? Sorry, it's getting sloppy here. I'll write it down here. Got the x when I did the GCF. The x minus 5 was given. And right now when I divided, this dividend, this part on top, is this. And what's always going to be true, because obviously these have to work out and they're going to factor out. Once you get it to squared, it's going to be factorable. So it'll be x minus 5, and this one's going to break down into what two? What two numbers multiply to a negative 12 and add up to a positive 1x right here? Remember, make your list of factors of 12. 12 is 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. 4 and 3, thank you. A 4 and a 3, and doesn't matter where I put the signs, you better believe it. Which one's what sign? They're both negative, they're both positive, one positive, one negative. Which one?
3 is negative.
3 is negative? And the 4 is positive? Yes, that's correct. So this one is the what? Factored form. Did I break it down into 4? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alma, question? X plus 5, did I write it wrong? Oh, I wrote it wrong. I'm sorry, it is X plus 5. I wrote that, I don't know why I put minus 5. Sorry, it's plus 5. That was the given root, X plus 5. Thank you for that. Huh?
How does it give us an x?
Because look at this. The question is where did we get the x from?
Yeah.
I just told you these ones that say to the power of 4.
No,
Always
that's
look
where you got the x from. But like, where'd you get this? Not from that side, but the x from the parentheses.
Yeah, I'm explaining it to you. X to the power of 4, 5x, 4x, 20x, they all have an x. You do GCF, you factor out an x. Yeah, I did that right here.
Yeah, but that's not what. And can you go a little bit bottom? Inside there. Like,
Where?
next, the one next to it?
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
The one next to it.
This one?
Yeah.
X squared plus x minus 12, how did I get that?
No, but like, how does 3 and 4 make x? No, it's 1.
4 take away 3 is 1. That's 1. That's a 1x. What number's right there? Positive 1, isn't it? Yeah. You're good? Did you understand this one?
Yeah.
How do you get the 8?
The 8, negative 2 and 10.
Yeah, when you add them. When you add them, you get this middle term. When you multiply them, you get this number. There's 2 conditions that have to be met right here. When I add a 10, take away 2, that's a positive 8. When I multiply, this is a negative 20. Now look at the one you're asking me. You're asking me this? What numbers multiply to negative 12? A positive 4 and a negative 3. Now what happens when you add a 4, take away 3? That's the middle part. That's the middle term. Okay. All right. Go ahead and do number 4. Anybody finished it? You want me to do it real quick? I'll do it really, really quick. Again, these will have a GCF. Always look for that. So it's now going to be f of x is equal to x. Factor that x out. That's going to be x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x minus 20. Now you're going to divide this by what? X minus 2, right? And it's going to divide nicely, and you better get remainder 0.
Mister, you put 3 instead of 4 for the cube area.
Where is it, Ignacio?
Like x, 4 to the power of 4, you put cubes.
You're talking about right here?
Yeah.
Because I factored out an x.
Oh,
I factored out an x. That's what I'm telling you that's going to happen with these problems, with the factor out an x. Then when you factor out an x, they all drop 1 degree, one number on the variable. Yes or no? Oh, yeah. Well, doing it right. I got remainder 0. Okay, so what do we got? Everybody got x squared plus 7x plus 10? Okay, so what do we got? What's going on? I see there's a big mess. What's happening? Well, I know this is to the power of 4. I'm supposed to have 4 factors. One of them is this x. The other one is the x minus 2. And when I divide, I just got this one. Everybody agree? So right now I'm looking at writing this. I'm looking at writing the x times the x minus 2 times this. That is f of x is equal to x times x minus 2. And then I just got this x squared plus 7x plus 10. But what am I telling you once you get it to a quadratic? It's gonna be factorable. So isn't it gonna be x minus 2 and what? Ignacio?
X plus 2, x plus 5.
X plus 2 and x plus 5. Does everybody see 4 factors? If it's to the power of 4? Yeah. This is correct. But that's not the answer you're going to see. Who can tell me why? You see, when you have either, if they're both repeating or they're 1 plus 2 or minus 2, they're going to do something just to throw you a twist. What's going to be the answer that's similar to this? X, and then for these two, it's what?
X squared minus plus 1.
And then, you guys see that? Mm-hmm.
We can still get that answer even if we don't factor out the x from the beginning.
Great question. He said, can I get the same answer even if I don't factor out the x in the beginning? Yeah, let's say you just divided this into this. When you divide x minus 2 into x4 plus 5x cubed minus 4x squared minus 20x. Yeah, you can do that. But then when you do this, this one will be cubed. And all of these will have an x. At this point, you'd have to do the GCF. You're still going to have to factor out the x. Either you do it right in the beginning or you got to do it next. Because you got to eventually break this polynomial down until it's what? X squared. Once it's something x squared, it's factorable. You should know how to factor GCF. Okay? All right. And then that's part 1. And then finally they're going to ask you, once you have this factored form, right, what are the zeros? List the zeros. What are the zeros here? Well, you better give me 4 because there's 4, it's to the power of 4. What's one of them? What's the 0 for that? 0. What's the 0 for this one?
2.
Positive 2. What's the 0 for this one? Negative 2 and negative 5. That should be easy. Once you have the factor form, it should be easy to list the zeros, yeah? What am I doing?